Morning dear students, a warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology section A. We have already started with the chapter Reflection of Light from Physics. In our previous session, we have studied about the nature of images which are formed by a concave mirror. The nature of images which are formed by a concave mirror when taking into consideration the position of the object. Today we are going to study with images which are formed by a convex mirror. You all know that spherical mirrors are of two types. One is concave and one is convex. So let us see the nature of image which are formed by a convex mirror. You can see here the mirror is a convex mirror. An object AB is kept in front of a convex mirror MN. Now which is your convex mirror? You can see here this MN is your convex mirror and object AB is placed in front of the convex mirror. Now how you will come to know that it is a convex mirror? What is the peculiarity of convex mirror? The outer surface of the spherical mirror is reflecting, then it is a convex mirror. So MN here is a convex mirror and object AB is kept in front of the convex mirror. Incident rays AQ, you can see this first is the incident ray AQ starting from point A and traveling parallel to the principal axis, and AR going towards the center of curvature. You can see the center of curvature over here are shown. Now here looking at the diagram, it is clear that the image is smaller than the object. Here you can see the image formed is A1 B1. How this gets reflected and the image A1 B1 is formed can be understood from the given diagram. So the image you can see is smaller than the object. It is formed where object is in front of the mirror. The image is formed behind the mirror and the image is erect. It is not inverted, it is erect. As the reflected rays do not actually cross one another, the image formed is a virtual image. An image which cannot be projected on the screen. You all know virtual image cannot be projected on a screen, whereas real image it can be projected on the screen. So the image formed is a virtual image. Now the nature of the image which is formed by a convex mirror, it does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror. The nature of the image which is formed by convex mirror, it is independent of the distance of the object from the mirror. Hence these images are always virtual, smaller than the object, and they are always situated behind the mirror. So this is the nature of the image which is formed in a convex mirror. With this we complete the topic of images which are formed by a concave mirror and a convex mirror. We move to our next topic which is related to the nature of the mirrors, that is divergence and convergence of light. Divergence and convergence of light. Look at this diagram here. Matchsticks are taken. 5 matchsticks are taken in both the cases. Here you can see from a single point source the matchsticks are made to spread apart from the source, whereas here the 5 matchsticks they are coming together at one single point. This figure will give you the definition, the meaning about divergence and convergence of light. When the rays of light starting from a point travel in different direction, then the collection of such rays is termed as a divergent beam of light. When the rays of light starting from a point source, it travels in different directions. You can see here light rays, this matchsticks, you can just, they are denoting the light rays from a point source, they are spreading in different directions. Then such a beam of light is called as divergent beam of light. You take an example of table lamp which you use in your house while studying during the night time. During the night time, if there is no light in the house, you make use of a table lamp. You know, from a single point source, the light spreads in all the directions and you are able to study, read, write under it. Similarly, on the other hand, when the rays of light coming from different directions, now you can see these rays of light are coming from different directions, they meet at a single point. Then the collection of such light rays is termed as convergent beam of light. You take an example of solar cooker. It makes use of the concept of convergence of light from the sun. The light rays which are coming from the sun, they are made to concentrate at a point on the solar cooker so that the food which is present inside it gets cooked, or solar heaters. All this make use of the principle of convergent beam of light. Convergence and divergence of light. So these are the two topics which you can understand from the given figure, and very applicable while studying the nature of mirrors ahead. Now a convex mirror, sorry, not a convex mirror, a concave mirror is also called as a focusing mirror. Concave mirror is also called as a focusing mirror because parallel rays get focused after reflection in this mirror. You can see here, they are getting focused at a single point. The size of the image which is produced by these mirrors can be larger or smaller than the object depending upon the distance of the object from the mirror. Whereas in the case of convex mirror, the size of the image, the nature of the image formed, it does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror. Whereas in the case of concave mirror, the size of the image which is produced by these mirrors can be larger or smaller than the object. It depends on what? Depending upon the distance of the object from the concave mirror. Exactly opposite convex mirror. Convex mirror is also called as a dispersing mirror or a diverging mirror. Why? Because parallel incident rays get dispersed after reflection in this mirror. For example, street lamps or a table lamp. The size of the images which are produced by these mirrors is always smaller than the size of the object. Just now in the beginning we have studied about the image which is formed by a convex mirror. And I have also told you that it does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror, and hence the images are always virtual and smaller than the size of the object. So this is the nature of the images which are formed by concave and convex mirror, and hence the names are concave mirror is called as a focusing mirror, or a convex mirror is called as a dispersing mirror. Now let us see where this concave mirror is used. The special mirror which is used for shaving is a concave mirror. You can see a diagram, a figure over here. A person is shaving and you can see the mirror which is used is a concave mirror. When held close to the face, you know, while shaving the mirror has to be near to the face. It gives vertical and larger image of the face. Why? Because the nature of the image here depends upon the distance of the object from the mirror. So more you bring the mirror closer near you, see when held close to the face, it gives vertical and larger image of your face. If the same mirror is taken away from the face, the image gets smaller and smaller. And you know, during shaving, you want the mirror to be near you so that it can be shaved properly. So you can adjust the mirror as per the requirement. So the mirror used in the case of shaving is a concave mirror. Apart from that, concave mirrors have n number of uses. They are used in the dentists, they are used by the dentist, they are used in torch, they are used in floodlights, solar cookers, solar heaters. Next we will see where convex mirrors are used. The mirrors used in cars and motorcycles are convex mirrors. You can see here You have seen while traveling through a car or bike, the mirrors which are used are convex mirror, and it remains in this mirror. What happens? The image of a face is erect and smaller, and it remains erect but becomes smaller and smaller when the mirror is taken away from the face. So what happens? As a result, we can get or see the images of the surroundings also in the mirror. What is the main use of these mirrors? In cars and motorcycles, do you see your face? Not at all. To get an information about the vehicles or the people which are traveling from behind you or which are traveling next to you. So according to the requirement, you can change the direction of your vehicle. So what happens? We can see the images of the surroundings also in the mirror, and thus we can determine the nature of the mirror by studying the images produced by them. Whether your mirror is a concave mirror or whether your mirror is a convex mirror. The nature of the mirror, whether it is a convex or concave, can be studied by depending on the images produced by each of them. Next, now about our human eye. When the light rays coming from an object, now you know whenever you see any object around you, you can perceive the object as it is. The color, the size, everything can be perceived as it is. Why? Because when the light rays which are coming from that particular object enters our eyes, we can see the object, because while passing through the lenses in our eyes, we know our eye has lens. Okay, so while passing through the lenses in our eyes, the rays converge. Converge means the light rays which are coming from that object, they come together at a single point, and the image of the object forms on the retina of our eye. Inside our eye, on the back side, we have a light sensitive screen which consists of a large number of cells, which are light sensitive cells which get illuminated upon when light passes through it. So that retina is nothing but which is called the screen of our eye. The image should be formed on the retina. This image formed by the light rays actually converging at a point is a real image, and you all know that a real image can be obtained on a screen, and due to this we can see or perceive the objects as they are. The image produced by a plane mirror. In the beginning of the chapter, you have studied about the plane mirror. The image produced by the plane mirror is always a virtual image, an image which cannot be projected on the screen. This image is produced at a point from which the reflected light rays appear to diverge. This image cannot be obtained on a screen as the rays of light do not actually meet there. So this about the virtual image and real image I have already told you in the beginning. Now, when light rays collect at a point after reflection from a spherical mirror, they are said to converge over there, and when we want to bring the light rays together at a point, a converging light beam is used. I have told you just now the equipments where you require the light rays to be concentrated at a single point. There you use converging light beam. You can see it is used by doctors. Why doctors? Because they have to focus on the parts which are having some fault, so that they can rectify the fault, and whatever medicines has to be applied, or if the tooth has to be removed, that action can be taken. So doctors always use a converging beam of light as they want to focus on the different defects of the tooth, ear, nose, etc. Equipments using solar energy. This also I have told you just now. Solar cookers, solar heaters, etc. They want the light rays to come together at a single point from the source, that is sun, so that the food can be cooked, the water can be heated properly. So such equipments using solar energy also use converging beam of light. Next is about diverging beam of light, where these are used. When light rays starting from a point spread out after reflection by a spherical mirror, light is said to have diverged. Already this concept is known to you, and I have told you, when you sit for study during the night time, when there is no light around you, that time you make use of a table lamp, because from that source the light gets spread out in all the direction. Or a very good example is the street lamps, which are activated during the night time. You know, during the night time it is dark, and this street lamps, from a source the light gets dispersed in different directions. The light rays spread out in different direction, making that area illuminated, spreading the light so you can see while traveling, while walking on the road, while the vehicles are in motion. So all these are the examples which make use of divergent beam of light. So I hope all of you have understood the concept of divergence and convergence. Which mirror is converging mirror, which mirror is diverging mirror, and where they are required, where they are used. Now let us move to our next topic. There are certain rules which has to be followed while drawing the graphs. You have seen, you have studied under geometry how the x-axis has to be plotted, how the y-axis has to be plotted, how you write the scale towards the corner of the graph. So here also certain sign conventions has to be followed. So according to the Cartesian sign convention, we are following the Cartesian sign convention. The pole of the mirror, all of you know what is the pole of the mirror. The pole of the mirror is taken as the origin. Which is the origin of the graph? 0, 0. So here the pole of the mirror is taken as the origin. The principal axis is taken as the x-axis of the frame of reference. The principal axis is taken as the x-axis of the frame of reference. Now the sign conventions are as follows. First sign convention is the object is always kept on the left of the mirror. Object is always placed, the placement of the object is always on the left side of the mirror. All the distances parallel to the principal axis, all the distances which are parallel to the principal axis, they are measured from the pole of the mirror. Next is, all the distances which are measured towards the right of the pole are taken as positive, while those which are measured towards the left of the pole are taken to be negative. So these are the different rules, the sign conventions which you have to strictly follow. First is, the object is always kept on the left of the mirror. All the distances which are parallel to the principal axis, that distances are measured from where? They are measured from the pole of the mirror. All the distances measured towards the right of the pole are taken to be positive, while those measured towards the left are taken to be negative. Distances measured vertically upwards, in the upward direction, from where? From the principal axis, are taken to be positive. Distances measured vertically downwards from the principal axis are taken to be negative. And the last point which you have to register, which you have to remember, especially it will be very much useful for you while solving the numerical examples ahead. The focal length of a concave mirror is negative, while that of a convex mirror is positive. The focal length of a concave mirror is negative, while that of a convex mirror is positive. Now how to apply this, I will tell you when we study ahead the mirror formula. So let us move to our next topic, that is mirror formula. The object distance U, you have known about these terms U and V also in chapter number 1. What were the meanings of it? U was the initial velocity of any object and V was the final velocity of any object. But in this chapter, U and V have different meanings. So what does small u means? The object distance. That is what? The distance of the object from the pole. That is the distance of the object from the origin. While the image distance, small v, is the distance of the image from the pole. So remember, u is the distance of the object from the pole, whereas v is the distance of the image from the origin, that is the pole. The relationship between the object distance, image distance and the focal length. All of you know what is focal length. It is denoted by small f. The relationship between these three is called the mirror formula. And what is that relationship? 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. Now here one important thing you have to remember from about this chapter is that ahead next year in 10th standard you have a chapter known as lenses. You have a chapter which is known as lenses, where the topics from that chapter are interrelated. They are connected with certain topics from this chapter of 9th standard. There you have two types of lenses, that is concave and convex lenses. Here you had two types of mirrors, concave and convex mirror. Then there you have the images which are formed by concave and convex lens. Here you had the nature of images about concave and convex mirrors. There in the chapter you have the lens formula. Here you have mirror formula. So if your basic concepts are cleared properly in this chapter in the 9th standard, then 50% of your lenses chapter for the next year is studied. Done. Okay, so focus well, concentrate on each and every topic of this chapter. Try to recollect them, try to understand each and every topic, because see, here only you can see there are differences between the same letters. In physics, in one chapter it is initial velocity, here it is object distance. So all these terms which are related to particular chapters should be registered properly in your minds. You should not have the confusion. So 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. Just now when I explained you the sign conventions, I had told you that the last point is very, very important while solving numerical examples. So here you can see, if they give you the image distance and they give you the object distance and tell you to find the focal length, you can find it out. But if focal length is given and either of these distances are given, then directly the focal length you cannot write down as positive value. In the sum, the value will be given positive only. But you have to check out which mirror it is. And then your Cartesian sign convention has to be followed. The last point, if the mirror is concave mirror, then your f, even in the question if focal length is positive, while writing down in the sum you will take as negative. If the mirror is convex, then focal length you can copy it as it is. And that is why I had told you, remember the last point. So see how they are linked with each other. And with this we move towards the last topic of our chapter, that is magnification, which is produced due to spherical mirrors. What do you understand by the term magnification? Magnified means larger in size than the actual size. So what is the formula for magnification? The magnification which is produced due to a spherical mirror is given by the ratio of height of the image. Height of the image is denoted by h2, which is nothing but v, to the height of the object, that is h1. Magnification is denoted by capital M, that is equal to height of the image upon height of the object, that is h2 upon h1. So you can also write it as capital M is equal to minus v upon u. So this is the formula for magnification which is produced by a spherical mirror. Now you always know that the object is always kept above the principal axis, so its height is always taken to be positive. So height of the object always you will take as positive. For virtual images the height is positive, while if the image is a real image, height is negative. Very, very important last point is, as the object is kept on the left of the mirror, you can see over here, the object is always kept on the left of the mirror. So as the object is kept on the left of the mirror, its distance u is always negative. So while applying in this mirror formula, two basic things you always have to remember. U, even though in the question if u is positive, you will always take the value as negative. Why? Because the object is always on the left of the mirror. And focal length, whatever value is given in the question, if the focal length is positive, whether the focal length is negative, while copying down in your sum, you will see which type of mirror it is. If it is concave mirror, then focal length you will copy as negative. If it is a convex mirror, then your focal length you are going to take it as positive only. So from this you understand how they are interlinked, how they are connected with each other. If any of your concepts remains unexplained, not understood properly, then you will not be able to solve the numerical examples also. Whatever value you will be given as 10 centimeter, you will copy 10 centimeter only, and then your sum will go wrong. Because basic concept you don't know that you always it should be taken negative. Or focal length, you should know which type of mirror, then accordingly you will take the sign. So these small things register properly in your mind, and every day the sign conventions, mirror formula and magnification go on recollecting, go on reading, and try to solve the sums based on it. With this we complete with the chapter, explanation of the chapter, reflection of light from physics, and I announce here that our portion for your third online assessment, that is slightly we can tell it as first semester exam, so that is over for both section A, section B. In our next upcoming sessions, I will be solving the textual exercise for this chapter, and any additional questions if they are there, we will discuss them, and numerical examples will be solved, and later on we are going to start with our revision sessions. Till then, I hope all of you to keep completing your notebooks, reading, understanding the concepts, studying, and at the same time stay inside your houses, stay inside your homes, and stay safe from this pandemic. Thank you, dear children.